Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're talking about how we can become more well-rounded marketers in the wake of iOS 14.5, iOS 15. Now, why do we need to do that? Well, we have less data at our fingertips, so following that, those one or two strategies that really work in making, tons of micro decisions might not be the strategy that's going to work in a year or two. And so, how do we combat that? How do we be prepped for this new world? Well, we actually need to get a little bit more well rounded. And how can we become more well rounded? Well, I've come up with a few easy ways that we can take steps in that direction. The first is to actually slow down. In the past, we've made a lot of decisions, as I said, really quickly on small bits of data that we were able to collect, like kind of making like micro decisions to guide a campaign, and we'd kind of just pinball between decisions, testing say dozens or hundreds of ads against each other, or dozens of landing pages against each other, and right now we still have a lot of this data. But over time, we're going to lose some of that. We might. And so with the possibility of losing that data, we've got to get more well-rounded. So how can we do this? Well, one, we slow down and we put more work in up front to campaigns. So we make sure that when we're shipping stuff, we're shipping really good stuff. We can do that by, it doesn't mean that we slow down our work. It means that we take more time evaluating quality, getting peer reviews, sending it out to colleagues, other people in the industry, other founders, trying to get input. So one, we slow down. Two, we take our time on the data that we do collect. Especially if you're reliant still on like Facebook data or third parties like that. The data you're getting is probably a lot less reliable than it used to be. And so you want to make sure that you collect enough of it to cut through the noise. So two, you gotta, let's take our time on analytics. Let's collect a little bit more data. I have a background in finance, economics, and did a decent amount of statistics in college. I'm not an expert, but I did enjoy it. And let's just be sure now that we factor in a little bit more room for error, for bad data. So we slow down a little bit on making decisions with data. So earlier, we trusted the Facebook system to get us pretty steady results, and we could tell really early on. Now we want to make sure that we get to sample sizes of like 26 leads or more before we start making big decisions, from say if we're testing a landing page or something. So let's collect a little bit more data before we make decisions, and then that leads right into point three. When we have made a decision, let's not be afraid to make big decisions. With certain clarity going down, that means that and our transparency going down, making as many decisions on small bits of data is going to become harder. And so when we had all those micro decisions that would add up and make huge impacts, and I'm sure some companies are still going to be able to do this, but be ready to not have access to as many of those data points, and so be ready to make bigger sweeping changes as we make them, and that's really important. When we make bigger decisions, introduce big new variants of like a completely different landing pages, completely different channels, completely different messaging, we can make big changes in our results. And so that kind of rounds it up. One, slow down, take your time getting stuff shipped, get peer reviews. Two, wait till you have a little bit more data before you make decisions. And three, when you make them, make big decisions, launch big campaigns. I'm not saying do rebrands or that kind of thing. I'm saying, make big decisions, be bold, introduce new email threads, introduce new channels, new tactics, all that. Let's make it a good week. Thanks, everybody. Bye.